According to Yale Global, globalization is a relatively new term used to describe a very old process. It is a historical process that began with our human ancestors moving out of Africa to spread all over the globe. In the millennia that have followed, distance has been largely overcome and human-made barriers lowered or removed to facilitate the exchange of goods and ideas. Propelled by the desire to improve one's life and helped along by technology, both the interconnectedness and interdependence have grown. Simply, globalization can be defined as the process by which the experience of everyday life, marked by the diffusion of commodities and ideas, is becoming standardized around the world.
Universities and higher education systems worldwide are being transformed by new or changing practices, programs, policies, and agendas. Universities have been globalizing since as early as the 19th century. In the 19th century, American students traveled to Germany, which pioneered the modern research university. Because of this shift of American students to another country, universities in the United States had to adjust their systems in order to keep up with the schools in Germany. Now, Germany is looking at American universities for inspiration on how to improve their programs. However, while the United States is still a major competitor, it faces increasing competition from overseas universities, not only in the West, but also in the Middle East, Southeast Asia, Japan, and China.
Take the example of China. We send a lot of people to Europe, to United States. So I was among the first group 30 years ago. So when we came back, we take all the knowledge we have learned, then we educate more students, let more students go. Then this is circular. So at that time, it's a win-win situation.
According to Ben Wildavsky, there is no single why, of course, but rather a constellation of reasons. The quest to build knowledge-based economies that has led so many governments to scramble to improve their higher education systems. The notion that a well-educated person today must be exposed to ideas and people without regard to national boundaries. The enormous student demand for foreign degrees. The financial attraction for many Western universities of overseas students who pay full freight. The prestige that many colleges seek in international initiatives as they begin seeing themselves as global rather than purely local players. And the practical fact that better communication and faster, cheaper transportation allow people to teach, study, collaborate, and compete across national borders as never before.
Why do you think studying abroad is so important for college students?
Well, first of all, I've seen the effect it's had on college students over the years. I mean, students go abroad for any length of time on a formal university program where they're immersed in the culture, and they come back different people. And they really come back with a different appreciation of the world and the fact that, you know, people may live differently in other countries, but it's just as living is just as good in those countries. You know, they go to Italy, for example, and they realize, you know, people spend 2 hours, you know, at lunch and not rushing in and out like we do here, and they come to appreciate the fact that you know, there's a lot that you learn over that lunch period. People eat with families, and you know, they spend time together and they talk, and you know, it's just not a rushed affair, and it's a good thing to introduce, you know, in their culture when they get.
Study abroad programs are a great way for students to get an education while exploring all that other countries have to offer. 3 million students worldwide study in countries outside of their own, a 57% increase in the past decade. This is related to the increase in student mobility. The number of globally mobile students is expected to nearly triple to 8 million by 2025. India and China are likely to continue to be the world's leading single-nation exporters of students.
China proposed a goal that is, they want to be the largest outbound for the outbound student worldwide. It already is. And also they want to be the largest inbound in Asia. Currently, the number one in Asia is Japan. So they want to take over Japan as the number one in Asia.
The top 5 most popular places to study abroad are the United Kingdom, Italy, Spain, France, and China. Oftentimes, what determines which countries students are most likely to travel to depends on what is happening in the country politically, economically, or climatically. For example, in a report about the statistics of study abroad for the 2010-2011 academic year, students interested in studying in Japan or Mexico declined dramatically. The number of students studying abroad in Japan dropped 33% due to the earthquake and tsunami, and 42% in Mexico, most likely attributed to its increase in drug violence.
Governments promote studying abroad because of the economic benefits of having an educated society. In countries around the world, governments are making improvements to their universities in order to boost overall enrollment. Making even a few of their campuses achieve a world-class status leads to an overall boom in a country's economy.
Establishing branch campuses is another way universities globalize. Branch campuses are located in a different city, sometimes even a different country, than the original college campus and are typically smaller. They offer a unique opportunity for students. In many cases, they provide a way for students who cannot travel far from home for college because of family responsibilities, their jobs, financial limitations, or other factors to receive an education. Branch campuses have made it possible for people to go to college who would not be able to otherwise.
Foreign exchange programs involve students swapping schools with students from other universities. They still remain enrolled at their home university, but they get to see what it's like to study at other campuses. Exchange students live with a host family or in a designated place such as a hostel, an apartment, or a student lodging. The purpose is for students to add an international or cultural aspect to their degree by studying in another country.
It really has to be approached from, I think, a position of we don't know enough and we're ignorant and we need to master. The world changes radically in a decade. You're out of step. I mean, you're not in the game and you're not performing your service to the world of critiquing, reviewing, researching, investigating, studying, proposing. And so my view is the only way to do that is to provide faculty and students the opportunity to be out in the world working on real problems, not as tourists, not as sort of people who are just giving their expertise, but really trying to understand the world as it is, because we need to catch up. Home campuses really need to learn more about what's going on in the world. We have an obligation as nonprofit educational institutions to share the knowledge we have with as wide a population as we possibly can.
Globalization is radically changing the world, shrinking it as technology and communication integrate countries worldwide. Universities have responded to the challenges of globalization by extending their reach throughout the globe and welcoming international influence on their campuses. Through study abroad programs, branch campuses, and foreign exchange programs, universities are able to provide students with a much broader worldview. Knowledge, ideas, and culture are being shared like never before as the world becomes increasingly smaller.